Right, hello and welcome to the Borough Briggs Beat, the official podcast of Elgin City Football Club. Welcome to another episode. My guests tonight are Bob Crombie and Naomi McNulty, who I'll from now on refer to as Gnomes. Is that okay, Gnomes?
Yep.
Excellent. Bob is the official photographer of the club, and Naomi, I'm going to describe you as a super fan. Is that all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a pretty fair summation? Right, excellent. Good stuff. Well, welcome to you both. Thanks for being part of this tonight. I was going to start off, Bob. I mentioned there you're the official club photographer. How did you get into that role, and how long have you been taking pictures?
Well, I got roped into it by Davy Robertson, who became the manager, along with his sidekick Kenny Black.
Oh, aye, yeah.
And that was in 9.
Davy, ex-Aberdeen, ex-Rangers,
Ex-Aberdeen,
went to India.
legend, went to
that
Rangers
documentary, aye. Mm-hmm.
Nice bloke, very quiet.
Aye.
It was Kenny, I think. But I, at that point, had been going from about 1969. My uncle took me, Davy Crombie.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at the Clarton Briggs Farm. And as a reward, he took me to this place, never been to Borough Briggs. In fact, at that time in the 60s, the only teams I ever heard of on TV were Rangers and Celtic.
Right.
So he took me there, and that was the Dave Lottie, Jerry Graham, the greats, I think George Gilbert and all the rest of it. That was me hooked as a supporter.
Mm-hmm.
So 2003, 2004, I think is when Robertson that came. Now, when they came, they took the dugouts to the far side terracing.
Right.
There was dugouts put out there. Well, they were
All
just,
over by the covered enclosure, aye?
yes, right
okay.
in front. I've got an actual picture somewhere. And I had bought this new digital camera, a Lumix, Panasonic Lumix, and it was just for my own thing. And I was taking pictures. Now, somebody had scored a goal. It was the Vipers.
So you in the crowd? You were
I was in the crowd.
a fan with a camera?
Yes, my two sons, Robert and unfortunately Gavin, passed away, unfortunately. They always stood beside us over there. And you know the old fan, old John?
Yeah.
Well, he stood kind of next to us as well. So we stood over there, and they'd scored a goal, and they came running over to David Robertson, Kenny Black. And of course I'm snapping away, and it was just putting flashes. So they turned around and says to me, "What are you doing with your photos?" And I said, "Oh, it's just for myself. Do you fancy being the photographer?" And that was it. I got roped in, and then I had to go and buy better cameras and that, and I have been for years. But it's my privilege to do it for the club because I'm a supporter first at the end of the day.
Right.
And all the lovely folk I've met through the years. No, it's my privilege. Totally my privilege.
Oh, brilliant. That's a really good story. So that was a like interview there and then by the manager, like an on-the-job interview for the role.
It was. There's a lot of stories about that.
But they do say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I mean, you can just look at a picture and it tells the whole story in itself, doesn't it?
That's the way I look at it. The only ones I remember, I think now, I can still think are Gary Woods and Veggers were in that team. And then the first journey I got, I think it was down to Berwick in the back of a minibus with the team.
James. They took a minibus
They
to
took
Berwick.
a minibus, but we were staying overnight down in a hotel just up the road from Berwick.
Right.
And I was in the back seat with the balls. Bags of balls. It wasn't very comfortable, but when we got to the motel thing, Kenny Black just says, "Put away your thing, you're not paying for nothing." So he paid for my room and everything like that. I was quite happy to that. So that was my kind of first journey with him, with the team as such, in the minibus.
Right. So it wasn't a very salubrious journey to Berwick, but they treated you well when you were there.
It wasn't then a minibus in the back. No, they did. And it was the same at night. You got your meal, and then it was a case of sit there and have a few drinks if you wanted and all the rest of it. But no, it was good times as well. But
yeah. What makes or what's the trick to getting a good action shot at a football match?
A lot of luck.
Is that? There must be a wee bit of skill there as well. Come on.
There is. It's just obviously your exposure speeds have got to be kind of set right. I wouldn't think if you're going for nothing less than 1,250 shutter speed, and for action you shouldn't be going much lower than that.
Right.
Things like that, and then your ISO. Now with the digital, the way it's progressed, the high ISOs mean nothing really because you can improve it with your software.
Right.
So you get away with a lot new, whereas the old the film was different.
Yeah.
It was just I've got a lot of respect for the old photographers like the Norman Littlers and that that used to do it and other.
I remember Norman. He used to take loads of pictures for the Northern Scot.
I used to try and get advice off of him.
Right.
Getting to get more tips from him when I was learning it. Norman was still there. And no, that's just the way things are. But like I say, it's just try and learn. Ask, if you're not sure, ask another photographer. They're all quite happy to help you out.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Brilliant. I was going to ask you something else, but it's going right out of my head, but I'll come back to that in a second. I'll come to you, Gnomes. I was going to call you Naomi there, but I'm going to refer to you as Gnomes.
That's fine.
Is that how everybody refers to you, Gnomes?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Okay, Gnomes. I described you earlier as a super fan, and I mean, the reason I described you is that because you go home and away.
Yep.
You have for a number of years. And you also attend a lot of the women's games now as well.
Started to.
Because you were at hospitality recently. So,
yeah.
So when did you start? I mean, how far back does your support of Elgin City go?
To 2011.
Right, okay. And what got you into the football at that time? Because I was told it was you that dragged your other half, Brian, along to football, not him dragging you. You dragged him.
No, he's telling lies.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it the other way around?
I was bored on a Saturday. I didn't have anything to do.
Right.
I didn't want to go shopping. So we were talking to each other. What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing nothing. Hint, hint. Not saying anything else. And he says, oh, well, I'm going to a football match. It's either Forres, Bucky or Elgin. So I ended up, during the conversation, him still not picking it up, saying, can I come with you? So he says, yeah, all right. Which one shall we go to? Elgin. So that was it.
Okay.
Him thinking, she's not going to last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And me thinking, I might not last 10 minutes.
That's true. And was it love at first sight?
Yeah.
Aye, with Elgin City, no Brian I'm talking about.
Well. Yeah.
But were you hooked? Did you like it? Can you remember what the game was?
I can't for the life of me, and I'm sure Brian has told me, but it was, who's that? Who's that? Who's that again? Who's that?
Right.
Who's that?
So it was a fact-finding mission, that first game?
Well, about the rest of the month until I got to learn.
And did Elgin win? Can you remember that?
I think, yeah.
Right.
We did.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell you what the game was.
Right, okay.
But it was a home game, so.
Right. And have you been going regular? Did you build it up after that?
Yeah. Might have missed a couple of games, but home games, but not many. And then we decided we'd go and do an away game, but at the time we just did public transport. That's right.
Oh, did
by
you?
train.
What, train? All right. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only ever been to a football match a couple of times on train, but there's something nice about travelling on the train to a game.
There is, yeah.
That was in the days where they let you drink alcohol on a train, so
I think it's coming back again.
you're not allowed to. Is it coming back?
They're talking about it.
You're not allowed to drink alcohol on trains. I know
No.
some people still do in secret, but you're not allowed to. So
I've got a funny story about that.
have you?
Yeah.
Right.
When we were going to Berwick, I think it was one of the last times by train. It was coming home. JJ had travelled with us. This is back in the day before he was Kitman. Yeah.
Ah, okay, right.
So he went and bought a whole tin quite a lot of tins of beer.
Right.
And it was back in the day when it stopped at 9. You could drink on the train, but you had to stop at 9.
9 cans or 9
No,
o'clock?
9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock, right.
But having said that, he proceeded to try and drink as many of those cans that he could.
Before 9 o'clock?
Before 9.
Jangs.
I said, JJ, you don't have to drink them all. Just stop after 9 o'clock.
All right, I didn't realise that. You had to stop at 9.
Yeah.
It's a new in me as well. I didn't get that either.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
And now you mostly travel by car to away games, do you?
Yeah, it was a slow move to the car. It was mainly my confidence. And then I thought, oh, come on, let's go. Going roundabouts more than once. because I missed the turning. Or another one was, who puts traffic lights on a roundabout? Because I never saw
Traffic lights on the roundabout.
Yeah.
That's strange. I've never
Perth.
I've been...
Oh, right, aye, Perth. Aye.
Oh, not
Yeah.
Perth. Perth was fine. I think there was a big one roundabout at Edinburgh.
Well, actually, these places called cities where they have a lot of traffic, they do put traffic lights on roundabouts
Yeah.
to try and sort the flow out. But it kind of defeats the purpose of having a roundabout, doesn't it? If you
A
put
little
traffic
bit.
lights on it.
Yeah. Yeah, but hey, it's a lot of fun. And then, yeah, progressed and Michael was like my witness for no, my little confidence booster going to Dumbarton. Yeah,
Dumbarton. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I was absolutely petrified. All these lanes. Well, you're going past Glasgow. aren't
What's the? Do you have a worst away trip that you fear? Not in a football sense, but just logistically actually getting there. Is there somewhere you think, oh my goodness, do we have to go there again? But you do. I mean, Strunnar's obviously the longest one, but I mean,
it's one of our favourites.
do you like that?
Yeah,
Do you make a weekend of
Stay.
it?
yeah. We leave on a Friday and we come back on a Sunday, so
Right.
it's just a good laugh.
So you
Good laugh.
Aye.
Yeah. it's
So when
good
did you
time.
start going home and away? When did the away thing start? And
It was in 2011.
you started going to some away games then. But I mean,
Yeah.
you go every away game pretty much come
Pretty
hail,
much
rain or
now.
shine.
Yep. But Michael now drives.
Right.
Him and Jenna. Bless him.
Okay. So you just
Bless
get
them.
to sit back and soak up the scenery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must be great fun going up and doing that A9 though.
I
suppose
think
you could mix it up and go to A90 if it's an East Coast game. couldn't
no,
you?
it's the A9.
Is that
Really,
right?
that's the most
Okay.
preferred, unless it's Forfar or East
Arbroath.
Fife. Yeah, Arbroath.
So going to so many away games in other seasons, and this is no criticism of any former managers or players, but it's not always been as successful as Elgin are at the moment. It must have been, challenging to go away so often when Elgin weren't winning away from home for quite a long period. It must
Quite
have-
a lot of quiet cars coming home.
Aye. It can ruin your weekend, can't it? Depending how your football team does.
Well, yeah, it did. But then we did silly things. We'd have karaoke or Neil Diamond's. One of Neil Diamond's songs.
Sweet Caroline.
That's
Sweet
it.
Caroline, that's the
Yeah,
one.
that's it.
Bob's, you're a bit of a music aficionado, aren't you? We were discussing this
when
off
you
air.
said Neil Diamond, Elvis did a brilliant version of it on stage.
Oh, did he?
Aye, and Neil Diamond was in the audience. And he actually then took his movements for that song.
Oh,
If you look at when Elvis does it, he does a kind of certain movement like this.
Yeah.
And does it. Neil Diamond then incorporated it into his art as well.
All right.
He said, I took it from the master.
Oh, brilliant. That's a great wee story, that. I mean, that was-
Yeah, it
Neil
is.
Diamond.
Uh-huh.
I love Neil Diamond as well.
Yeah, I did. Or I do, shall I say? Yeah, he's a lovely, personable man. Feet on the ground, no airs and graces. He's lovely.
So a bit of Neil Diamond can soothe any bad result.
Yeah, it just gets us all going, and
Aye.
yeah,
I suppose, I mean, if you've had a bad result, you do quickly forget about it, don't you? You can't move on.
No,
and-
but I agree with Noel. Mate. I always find, especially on the team bus, the first hour, especially if it's a thing, nobody's really thanked. They really want to speak much or
Yeah.
thing like that. But then after about an hour, everybody kind of starts to come back down to earth, and then you kind of just get into it's never quite so bad again. You get over that first hour,
Yeah.
and then things kind of just mellow out a wee bit. And that. So I find it's always the first hour after you're all kind of cursing, swearing, and
yeah.
whatever. But then things just just mellow out again.
Yeah, aye. And we'll come on to this season a wee bit later on, but obviously it's been good home and away this season so far, so long may that continue.
Yep.
Right, great stuff. I was going to ask you both here. Obviously, Bob, you've been watching Elgin for a bit longer than both of us. I was going to ask for your favourite Elgin City memories. I mean, you talked about the heydays of some of the great players, but have you got a recent memory that sticks in your mind? Or
well, the one which I think we all remember is Ross Draper keeping us in the division.
Mine.
That, to me, the place just went nuts when he scored that goal. I've never felt such a sensation at Borough Briggs when he saved our bacon, basically.
Yeah. It was like
that is a magic moment that I'm proud that for Ross, the whole lot, to keep us where we are.
Right.
Because either that will go back to the Highland League.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to the Highland League. But now we're here, where we are, want to stay there and go up.
Yeah.
It's high time we were going up, to be quite honest.
Exactly.
Aye, because I mean, I'm not going to use the term sleeping giant. Oops, I said sleeping giant. But you know what I mean? Elgin, given the population, the catchment area, the size of the club, you see other clubs across Scotland who've been League One, Championship, and goodness forbids, even higher. No getting away ahead of ourselves, but you know, Elgin should be playing at a higher level, hopefully.
But I always find with Elgin, especially, it's always been that way. Aberdeen, Ross County, the youth systems, anybody that was any good in the Elgin area were taken away.
Yeah.
So they never really come through the Elgin system. If they were showing promise, they always ended up going elsewhere. And Carly to a certain extent as well. But I always felt, so the young talent wasn't going to come through into the Elgin side. Very few. They were always taken away elsewhere.
Yeah.
Which is no disrespect to them, because they are big clubs.
Yeah.
Now, well, Aberdeen always were a big club, like the Ross County and that, because at the end of the day, they were just a Highland League team, same as Carly Thistle. Well, I suppose Carly Thistle, they were never in the Highland League, I suppose, right enough. That was Inverness Carly.
Yeah.
But, no.
All right, so you're both agreed on that Ross Draper's goal to
well, to me, that's one of the
stave off
magic.
relegation. Aye.
That is mine.
And now,
Because you could feel the collective sigh of relief and euphoria. And plus, we were in hospitality that day. So we had a drink afterwards, or 3 or 4. So.
And I suppose that kind of blows the myth out the water. You hear anecdotally a lot of folks saying, it'd have been great if Elgin just go back in the Highland League and challenge again, because they haven't been promoted since they stepped up. But is there any Elgin City fan would like to see them back in the Highland League, or do you want to progress in the senior leagues? Is that the way you've got to treat things? And
that's what I think. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, aye. And to be fair, the Highland League, for clubs dropping in there, it wouldn't be easy to get back.
No.
It'd be really
definitely
difficult.
not.
Look at Brechin, bless them. Yeah.
I mean, they're trying hard, but that's third season. And as I think we talked in the previous episode with other folk, the Lowland League's become a bit of a graveyard for former Scottish League clubs.
It certainly has.
Because there's a lot of teams that are now up in League One, League Two that were Lowland League just a few years ago. So
Yeah, exactly.
So really, it's all turned around for Elgin, just in the space of like the last 12 months, almost, in terms of where they're going.
Huge difference.
Aye.
I think you can almost feel it from top to bottom, because the change in chairman, a few changes in the board, the manager.
Aye. And that's no disrespect to previous chairmans, boards, managers that have gone before, because they've all worked hard and they've done a good job. Yeah. But something's just clicked in the last 12 months, isn't it? Something's changed.
Everyone's got their different ways of doing things as well. So,
Yeah. Okay. Right, we'll hold that thought for now. We'll come on to this season a wee bit later. I was wanting to dumb it down a wee bit. Bob, I'm going to say Bob the Baker. It's normally Bob the Builder. That's a kids' programme. But Bob the Baker, because I discovered on a recent away trip, I think it was Clyde game, on the bus, that you used to be a baker. And you worked for Walkers for how many years?
47.
47. James.
I went early. We're losing my son Gavin.
Yeah.
I really thought, well, family's up now. Do I really want to do another couple of years? I could have got 49 years.
Aye.
But I decided, no, I'm going now. Life's too short, because you never know how long you've got.
No.
So I went early. But
That's
it was
though, 47
it was a
years.
baker confectioner actually I got employed
Right.
as, because I worked in the confectionery, and then in later years, I got put up to a supervisor, but still hands on. I was
So you
in
didn't
charge
just
of
watch other people making stuff. You
I
still
made the
it.
cakes.
Right.
I was in charge of production, but I actually was hands on. I mean, didn't ask me to do paperwork or anything like that. That's just not my forte. Hands on, make sure the cakes are made properly,
Right.
and then dropped and all the rest of it. A lot of that was done by hand as well.
Right.
Because folk think, oh, okay, but if you've got a power cut, I go back to the old-fashioned way, drop by hand.
Right.
You're talking dropping cakes into slabs and that get cut. So there's a lot of physical work. But no, I can't complain. Great folk to work for. The Walker's family has always been very good to work for, the whole lot I've known. The old boss, as we called him, that was Jim. Then with old Joe, who he was a football player himself.
Right.
He played in the Highland League, if I remember.
Because that's his son, Nicky, who's now the MD.
No, wait a minute. This is old Joe. This is the
old
older
Joe,
this is gone back.
Right.
And then you had Joe, Jim, and Marjorie.
Right.
Joe's the one that you would know. Young Joseph. We called him Young Joe.
Okay.
Because that's the way
so
the
that's
difference.
Nicky. That was Nicky's dad.
Nicky's father.
Nicky, who played for... He did play for Elgin, didn't he, Nicky? And then he went on to
Leicester
and Rangers. And
Yep. But no, I've got to say that for a firm to work for, there couldn't be better to work for.
Brilliant. Where did you learn to bake? Who taught you to bake? Or were you self-taught?
Well, I suppose if the love of baking and that would come from my granny Mackenzie and my mother. They were all bakers in their own right at home.
Right.
That's the way things were. You made your own scones and all the rest of it. So probably that had something to do with it. So then the boys you worked with, well, your gaffers and all the rest of it. The confectionery was George Mackenzie. And then Sergeant Major Jock McConaughey, who was the big boy sort of thing. Like.
Aye.
Nice bloke, really nice bloke.
And you clearly still bake at home because on that away trip,
Yes,
I got to savour some of your
that is
delights.
entirely voluntary. I do that for the players as a reward.
Right.
I often feel like saying, if they lose, you ain't been getting that. But then you didn't.
No.
At the end of the day, they're doing their job, and if it does nothing, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
No. Actually, they got a nice surprise there when they came home the other night as well. So I made a new aim for them, an Isla loaf.
An Isla loaf.
An
what's
Isla
that?
loaf, but it's like a clooty dumpling.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Some of them, most of them I found the young players didn't like any of my currants and sultanas and that. But one or two tried it. Oh, that's really nice. And I said, I need to go then. And then they were all looking for their flapjacks, I make, of course.
I did try one of your flapjacks on the Clyde trip. That was good. I really enjoyed that.
And then chocolate chip oaties, that's another thing that's getting popular.
Right.
The gaffer, Alan Hale, tried one and then he took the box. I did get it back when they got to Perth. Empty like, but
Jangs between Viscount biscuits and
the home
that.
bakes.
the home
But
bakes.
I should state everything. This has probably got to do with Walkers and that everything I make is made with butter.
Right.
I will not use margarine.
No.
That's just the way I am. My
Right.
mother,
That's
and
the
yet my
same with
mother,
my mum.
my mother still, when she made some things, it was stork. But no, I've just stuck to butter. I think that's my Walker training.
Right.
We don't use margarine. It's
They're not
butter.
right, so it's butter all the way.
Yeah. So that's what I do.
Right.
That spends my whole day Friday baking.
No, that's cool. Have you tasted Bob's home bakes?
No.
That's
Right,
shame.
well, we'll have to get you fixed up with some.
Oh, I did a flea pit, we call it now. That was another one. It's an old
That
one.
doesn't sound
it's a
quite
fruit,
as
It's a fruit
appetising.
slice.
Right.
Short crust pasty. Then you've got boiled sultanas and currants and sugar in the middle.
So they
Then
call
you've
it a
got-
flea pit because the
That's
sultanas
the
look like
nickname.
fleas
Aye,
in a
that's
pit.
exactly what it was.
Oh,
It was nicknamed a flea pit, but it isn't. It's a kind of fruit slice.
It's not
And
the
it's
most-
got shortbread, short crust on the top again with sprinkled with sugar.
Right.
It sounds almost like an echelfechen.
Oh, and I mean,
Or a
Oh,
Eccles
it's tart.
cake, sorry.
Nickel
Yeah.
feckin' tart.
no, that was a strange one when you said that.
What?
Because of the Scottish book I've got, I once decided I made it the recipe at home, Eckelfecken. And this is good. So I took it to work and gave it to my manager, Mr. Morrison. Oh, have you got the recipe? I says, aye. Go and bake us some. I'll take it up to Joe. So he took it up to Joe. Oh, aye. That's an Eckelfecken. tell Bob to go and make mayor. So I went and made mayor, and they took it round the factory and tasted it, every taster, and from there off it took off. Walker started to do it.
Oh, brilliant.
But somebody turned around and says, you should get paid a commission. No, I was just chuffed to heck. So that's a product that's still done, and it's Christmas, and Whoppers do it. I mean, it's a traditional recipe, but I brought it in because I was making it at home.
So, but you've never got any royalties for that? You could have been a rich man by now, Bob.
Somebody else said that to me as well. Stick a penny at it. But again, it's a traditional recipe. I just like making old-fashioned Scottish traditional recipes because a lot of folk don't know, never heard of them and that. And just.
So have you tried Ecofecking on the players? Have they been? You should.
Well, it's rather expensive. It's even more expensive to make.
Is it?
Okay. A lot of ingredients goes into it. Yeah, but it is really nice. I usually make it for Christmas along with my onion braddies. Onion braddies. That was a thing at Walker's the baker did when they had the bakery. They were beautiful. So I started making them at home. And I can't tell you, I retired. In the first 2 years I was retired, the girls down at the work would say, there's money for you to go and make us some flipping onions. So I made them and they put down to them. Some of them were
brilliant.
paying me to make their onion braddies. I cheated though. I bought puff pastry.
I don't blame you.
What's the thing you like baking the most? Have you got a favourite? No? Just anything?
Anything and everything.
Good stuff.
Drives the wife nuts, but there you go. Well, my oven's dirty.
Oh, God. Right. Between you and G and his biscuits and you and your home bakes, I mean, these I'm surprised these players are as fit and lean as they are.
I'm not surprised.
They never got them before a game. It's always on the way
always
home.
On the way home.
Always on the way home, never on the way down. No,
never, okay. That's cool.
Wow.
Excellent. Brilliant, good stuff. Noam, I'm going to turn to you, and a wee bit, people will be able to tell from your accent that you're a Yorkshire lass.
Well, a lot of people, some people don't hear it, that I'm a Yorkshire lass, but yes, I am.
No, I detected that. But I did know beforehand that you're from Sheffield, but I mean, but you've spent most of your life in Murray.
Yep.
You've been here since, what, 1975?
Yep. Dad was in the RAF. RAF, sorry. And we came up in 75.
Right.
I did all my schooling, my high schooling up here, and then I did my nursing and went down to London for 5 years.
Right. Was that as a nurse? Yeah, I was working as a nurse in a hospital? Or?
Yeah, in a hospital.
Right.
Yeah, and then had enough. I wanted to come home, miss home. Met a bloke who was in the RAF, who were married.
I'll not tell you the face Noam's just pulled when she's described that one, but we'll move swiftly on.
Well, it should have finished in the first year. It went on for another 4. But hey ho.
Enough said.
But came home to find myself again, and never left. It's been brilliant. Went back to college, done my dental nursing. So I've been doing that for quite a while.
If anybody, forgive me here, Bob, but if anybody breaks a tooth on any of Bob's rock cakes, you could sort them out with your dental background.
No, I'll just give them the dental information advice line for them to phone.
I'm pretty sure nobody has broken any teeth or suffered any.
No.
I forgot the rock cakes as well.
Do you make rock cakes?
That is Michael Allen's, one of his favourites. Used to be one of his favourites.
Oh, right.
I think with his thing now, I think you can take them now. He loved the rock cakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always sprinkle sugar on them, so yeah, that's more added for the teeth.
Thanks.
I know.
But when you were growing up, was Sheffield Wednesday, was that your family club, or was that a club that you followed, or?
It was on my mum's side. My granddad used to take my mum to all the Wednesday games.
Right.
But I would always... I only remember that it's Wednesday because Brian's just has been on at me today. It's Sheffield Wednesday, because I would always forget. So I'd be supporting it, both Sheffields.
Okay, so you were the Blades and
Yeah.
Wednesday. Ah, okay.
Yeah. Because I was, Mum and Dad were posted at Bahrain
Right.
when she was expecting me. And when I was due, they had to fly my mum home because she's got funny blood. So
Right.
that's why I was born in Sheffield.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. But your heart's in Murray and Elgin City. You
Yes.
consider this home now?
Yes,
Up here.
this is my home. Yeah, love it.
Great.
Not far from 45 minutes from Aberdeen, is it?
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Because you
whatever.
bide in Lossy, like me. We both bide in the jewel of Murray, as they call it.
Yeah.
And you're Aberlour, Bob, aren't you? Have you always been Aberlour, or is that?
No.
No?
Brought up at Cardew.
What, the distillery? Or no, just Cardew?
You see, that was Cardew, but then they've changed it to is it in the Cardew or something like that.
Ah, okay.
But it was Cardew or Cardow when we were born. And then we moved. My dad was in the railway. He was a signalman.
Okay.
So then we moved to, well, that was Naconda station. So he got a transfer then to Craigellachie. So we moved to the station cottages. I loved, both our places I loved. But then they closed the railway, Beecham.
Oh, my. Yeah.
A nice guy, like nut. He closed all the railways, which we all know is a major mistake for
Yep.
road haulage on the roads up here. If they'd left the railways, the containers from the distilleries, etc., from Walkers could have been carted
Instead of going down the 95.
Yes. But then that was just the way things were. So then Dad, when the railway got closed, moved to Elgin and got a job with Neil Ross. That was a tractor kind of agricultural lot. So he was an HGV driver. He'd done HGV thing as well.
Right.
So we moved to New Elgin. But we always went to Clattenbriggs at the weekend. Didn't matter where we lived. To my dad would. The Crombies owned Clattenbriggs. Well, they didn't own it; they rented it, but they'd always
That
had
farm?
it. The farm. It was
right.
a farm, but it's not now.
Okay.
It's now all houses built in about it.
Oh, okay.
It breaks my
imagine.
heart, but it was
Yeah.
that's the way it thing. But we would always go there at the weekend usually, and my dad would have a wee plot there. All the brothers did: Sandy, Jock, Neil. So the brothers always got together, and a Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock, we would all be sitting round the TV. Dickie Davis wrestling,
Yeah.
McManus,
Giant haystacks. And
that's it.
You remember that?
And my granny would be jumping out their seat. Rotten. If we had got it's not a real granny, she's a good thing. But,
Big
So
Daddy. That was another. Who was the other? Big Giant Haystacks. Big Daddy.
Big Daddy,
Yeah.
the Royal Brothers.
They always put a wee
Ken
guy
Nagasaki.
up against Giant Haystacks. What was he ever going to do against Giant Haystacks?
But then we moved to Elgin, and that was me because I was working at Walkers. Stayed in Elgin for a few years, and then got married and moved back. Well, I was working in Aberlour anyway.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But
And just quickly going back to you, Gnomes, we mentioned Sheffield and your Yorkshire roots, but you become a bit of a Leicester fan as well because of your other half, Brian.
That's because of Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grew up there, so yeah.
But it'd be a good time to be a Leicester fan. Just 2016 was it?
Oh, it was amazing.
That was the season. That was,
Yeah.
I mean,
Just absolutely perfect. We've never been able to see them play at King Power. We've been there. Oh yeah, and been to the Memorial Garden for I can't remember his name.
oh,
but
the chairman and
Yeah.
the helicopter crash.
that was
Yeah.
a tragedy.
that was a tragedy. But we've got hospitality next year towards the end
All right, okay. Who are you going
at
to
King
see?
Power to watch Leicester, and I think they're v Ipswich. I think.
So before the end of this season,
Must be
Yeah.
this.
that
season.
could be a
This
relegation 6-pointer. That could
You
be
never
a biggie.
know. I know. Aye. Well, you never know.
Brilliant. Right, we mentioned earlier how it's kind of changed the last 12 months being an Elgin City fan, and we're going to talk about this season. It's been a fantastic start to the season, albeit we'll come on to Saturday and Bonnyrigg in a minute, but I mean, 11 games unbeaten for Elgin, club record. Well, 10 was a club record, and then they went one better, 11. How's it been watching them this season? I'll start with you, Gnomes.
It's just wow. nearly every time we've seen them play. That's just brilliant. Yeah.
What's been the big change for you this season? Is there one thing you can put your finger on to say it's recruitment, or it's the team spirit, or it's just the attitude?
I think manager and assistant manager have done wonders.
They have fostered a really good atmosphere in the camp, because I've seen them at training a few times and at the games, and there really is a good, they have fun, but they work hard as well.
Yeah. I just think they all work together. They're all playing for each other. You can see that they want to win, and you can see the disgust on their faces when they walk off, if they when they haven't, or even if they've drawn. They've beat during that 11 games, unbeaten.
Because even during that
Distraught.
run, Alan, Steph and others said that they hadn't really hit what they consider top form in that run. So that's quite reassuring, isn't it?
I think a lot you say, they are right in a way, because we've never really got the full team. Nothing like it.
No.
It'd be interesting to see, once we get everybody back, what the performances could be then.
Gosh, yeah.
I think I agree. I think there's a lot more to come. I honestly have great faith in it.
Yeah.
We're going to hit something
If
yet. Somebody's going to get the backlash sooner or later. Because you always, I don't know you, but I always take a piss out of poor smart. Anyway, got the wrong player there. Dejan.
Right.
Yeah.
I always say, right, come on, Dejan, you're due a hat-trick, But you put him under pressure straight away. But there's a guy that, to me, sooner or later, he is going to get one. If he
works so hard, doesn't he? He's such a hard worker.
If he gets one, he'll probably end up getting a hat-trick. But that's taking nothing from anybody, because I think they're all putting in brilliant shifts. The whole dudes, they've all, even Brian Cameron has just came alive again.
Yeah.
He's just, again,
I never...
he's kind of stagnated to a certain extent, I thought, but now Brian's back to what he should be offering.
It's because he's enjoying his game.
Russell Dingwall, well, there's a boy to run his socks off for the club.
You just run through
and then you get boys like Owen Cairns. That's what I'm saying, you can go through the whole lot. They've all, and then Jack. What a revelation that is.
Wow.
I mean...
And such a threat when you get a corner. I reckon how he manages to hang in the air. He just hangs in that air that low and he gets it. And there's times it looks like he's going to go down, but he still gets his head on it.
Gets it.
And then, but by that time, the keeper's already forced to make his dive, and he's probably coming back down, and it's too late because it's going over the top.
Yeah.
No.
There's something, you've got a central defender there who's probably going to guarantee you double-figure goals in a season. He will. He could go even. I mean, he's got Aldi on 6. He's top scorer at this stage. But obviously, it came to an end on Saturday. You were both down there at the game.
Yeah.
Was it a strange feeling, because you haven't, nobody associated with Elgin apart from the Premier Cup games has had to deal with defeat this season? Was it a strange one, or did you feel it was? I mean, it was always something that was going to happen. So that's it. Out the road, clear the decks, and move on again. Start afresh.
I kind of felt that it was coming. It had to.
Yeah, I agree with him.
And as we've spoken before, it was good for Bonnyrigg.
Aye, because you said it was an emotional day for them, because
It
they
was,
lost
losing
their
their
chairman,
chairman.
Charlie.
Yeah.
So in a way, there's no way you want to lose a game.
No.
But for the sake of the Bonnyrigg supporters that turned up, and a lot of them weren't even supporters, they loved that man.
Yeah.
So in
So
a way,
if you didn't begrudge them that result on
in
that
a way,
particular day.
there was that kind of thing. I kind of felt for them. It was a hard day for them, for any club to lose somebody that they love. So in a way, if you did want to lose, that's the kind of thing. You didn't want to lose.
No.
But I did think had a bit of sympathy for them. It's not an easy thing. But again, we can't take it away. We had 8 players missing.
Yeah.
So it's not Elgin's strongest team.
No.
But their pitch is something to behold, though, with the slope on it, to be honest.
Is it a big slope? I've never been there.
Well, in what direction? Because it goes all over the place.
Oh,
Right, okay.
Yeah. It goes down from one to up on another, and it might go that way and down
It
and
is
then back up.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Sounds.
I'm surprised. that
I'll
they
have to
ever
get
got
down
away
to the
with that.
next Bonnyrigg game, and I've never been there. I've never seen their pitch, so I know the likes in High League, Wick's got a bit of a slope, and there's other clubs that have got a bit undulations and whatnot. But all right, okay, right.
No.
And you think just with the run of games and extra time against Clyde and all the injuries mounting up, that Elgin just run out of steam a wee bit?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Although I think Alan and Steph would say it's not an excuse, but
No.
to be honest, the team have worked their socks off, given everything. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it has been an amazing start to the season, and they're still up there, just a point or two off the top, firmly embedded in the playoff places at the moment. Given the way they've started the season, has that quite quickly raised the level of expectation among the fans? I mean, at the start of the season, what would you have both settled for or looked for? Because last season it was about staving off relegation.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Would you have accepted just mid-table, and if you got close to the playoffs, fine, but now the level of expectations kind of going through the roof, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we could make the playoffs. Yeah.
I have every confidence as well. We're finishing the top 4.
Yeah.
I can't see why we can't. If we get all the players back, I just can't see why we can't.
Yeah.
Again, it's like every other league, transfer window again in January.
Oh, gosh,
It just
yeah.
depends how other teams strengthen, etc. in January. But as it stands, if we can get the boys back,
Wow.
I'd have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Absolutely, well, not what I've seen in the league. No, absolutely nothing to fear about.
The one game that I missed was the cup game, was it? Where the 6 penalties or whatever it was.
Now that's another magic moment.
Oof.
6
Clyde
penalties.
game.
Yeah.
6 penalty saves. Yeah, by Aidan.
Will I see that again? I don't know if I will.
Not just 6 saves, but he scored one as well.
And he
on the
scored
shootout.
one as well, yes. That's
Aye.
another magic moment there. I could not believe it. Mind you, my trigger would flipping 3,000 odd photos.
3,000.
Because I was clicking as soon as he was kicking them, just to see I didn't miss nothing.
Yeah.
And I
So
said,
that's the downside to
Wow.
digital photography, is you can take.
far too many.
Too
Yes,
many, yeah.
that's right.
In old days, you would have run out of film after about, a dozen
Well,
shots or something.
you wouldn't have got that shot, so. But that's the problem, being trigger happy. But that's the first time that's ever happened. It'll be the last time as well.
Aye, that was,
That was exceptional.
yeah, that's fantastic.
I think Aidan grew.
Aidan.
I meant Aidan, yeah.
No, you did.
Did I
you
say
just say
Aidan?
Aidan.
Yeah.
You did, aye.
I think
He's been a revelation, because
Wow.
losing Tom with Ollie having Ollie as backup out and young Cole on the bench, to lose Tom, that could have been quite a serious blow, and it could have really impacted the team. So to get Aidan in the way he's played has been outstanding.
Really
he's-
has, for such a young keeper.
And that game has really. Well, we were sat behind him last week at Bonnyrigg because of the way fans have to sit behind the goal.
Right, okay.
And he was shouting, and it was wow. It felt as if he'd grown in stature.
Presence, yes, he has.
His confidence. It's brilliant.
commanding
And
his
at
box.
times in games,
Yeah.
it looked like he's had go gadget arms and legs, because he can just get that extra couple of inches to get a touch to the ball and
You're
stick
more
his foot out.
flexible when you're
Aye.
younger.
Aye, definitely. I suppose when you're 19, you can stretch that bit further.
Once you
eh,
get into your 30s and that, your body tells you something else. Nate, I would know.
No. Brilliant. So I suppose it's all about how they react now. Forfeit at home on Saturday. They've lost their manager, Ray McKinnon. It hasn't been a good
I
season
know.
for them so far. He's gone. So they've got an interim manager. So will they get not a new manager bounce, but an interim manager bounce? But do you think Elgin will react quite positively on Saturday at home?
I hope so, because I call it, although it's Borough Briggs, what I call it is Bastille de BB. That's what I call it.
So it's like,
And it's our fortress, it's our
Right.
home. So I think,
I like that. That's a good.
I like that
Yeah,
as well.
Bastille de BB.
BB.
Excellent.
Which didn't help last week as well. Before the Bonnyrigg game, was Alan won the manager of the month, and Jack won the player of the month. And anybody that wins that usually ends up getting beaten their next game. I know, but
it's a cliche, but more or less it's
I would
true.
say it applies more to lower leagues. It doesn't come thing in probably the Premier League and that because but I think it does. It seems the motivation there for other teams to beat you then as well. This kind of thing as well. And there's a kind of thing.
Player and manager of the month. Jack was in the SPFL team of the week for the second time, unbeaten, and sadly losing their chairman. The team had many reasons to want to beat Elgin on Saturday, so maybe that just inspired them a wee bit more than normal.
I seem to mind Ross Jack winning it for us as well as manager of the month, and then the next Saturday we'll get beat as well. It seems to kind of go hand in hand.
It does actually.
So you go, did I want it?
At any level, you see that a lot, don't they? They win the manager month and then bang, lose the next game. But it'll be exciting. I mentioned there that you've gone to some of the Elgin women's games this season, Bob. You've taken photographs of some of the women. I mean, they're top of their league. They're
That's right.
progressing in the cups. The women's game's really taken off.
Yeah, it
for
has.
Elgin.
I mean, we were there at the previous game, not this last one, but the previous one, Hospitality, against...
was it Aberdeen Ladies?
Dunnipace.
Ross County, Dunnipace.
Yeah, that's it. And they were deemed to be the underdogs and that they wouldn't win. Yeah, but they did.
Aye.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a really great atmosphere at the ladies' games as well. Yeah. And I like the way they interact with the crowds, and it's a blinking good standard, and they played some good football. And their game on Sunday against Huntly was exciting by all accounts. 5-4.
Wow, yeah, we weren't at that game, but wow, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but it's nice because I know on home games, some of the ladies are watching the first team.
Yeah.
So when we were doing the hospitality. There was Coops, Soapy.
Coops was there, Soapy, and Dejon pitched up as well. So there was some of the first team. So the word is spreading, and they're getting more and more support. So fair play to Mo and the team. They're doing a good job at that.
Definitely.
Excellent. You mentioned there underdogs in the cup. This is one of my questions here. I just wanted to throw this in, and because I suppose Leicester were the ultimate underdogs in terms of winning the league. But which, if you got a memory of a biggest cup shock, not necessarily Elgin. I mean, I'll start you off. I mean, my one, and probably all my friends and that are sick to death of me banging on about it. And I'm wearing a Stephen Dobby t-shirt tonight. Was Queen of the South when they beat Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup semi-final in 2008. We were quite heavy underdogs, but we beat Aberdeen 4-3. So that will always live in my memory. But I do remember Hamilton Accies beating Rangers many, many years ago at Ibrox. But have you got a favourite cup shock?
Well, before I was a City fan. I remember the Clyde Celtic Cup tie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In 2006. Yeah, I cheered Clyde on to a win, which they did do. However, I'm not a Clyde fan now.
Yeah.
Since following Elgin.
I suppose one of the biggies was Inverness Cali beating Celtic. When they went ballistic and Celtic were atrocious.
Yeah.
To quote
that was
amazing.
Brilliant. That was brilliant. I mean, I'm near Inverness Cali thing, but I always look forward for the Highland teams to beat Rangers, Celtic.
Oh.
Even though I was a Rangers supporter kind of when I was younger, still a kind of well-wisher. But no, I always look, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And that headline they give it, Inverness go ballistic.
Super Cali go ballistic.
That is
Celtic
absolutely brilliant.
atrocious.
What a brilliant title
that was. A good headline.
And no, I felt really thin for them that day. I really did. It proved that you didn't have to live in Glasgow. Football can be elsewhere.
Elsewhere,
It's still the same yet, though, when you look at it.
Yeah.
They're not interested in the North football, really.
No.
Change
days for Cali because they're going through their struggles now, but hopefully there'll be some resolution there for all the Cali fans. But
yeah, had the man that was the manager in here recently.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, Paulie Patterson.
Oh yeah, because he did great stuff when he was at Cali Stadium. And obviously Scottish Cup winners themselves, which was a great achievement. So
was Barry Wilson in here as well?
And he was technically, but it was via like a Zoom meeting, so he was here in spirit.
Yeah, lovely guy as well.
Yeah,
he
great
was
guy.
Elgin as well. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Barry.
Great stuff.
He loved John Denver.
John Denver.
John Denver.
Did he?
Right.
On the bus. Because he would ask me what we got on your laptop, Bob, and I put on music, and John Denver was
John
one
Denver.
of them.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Alan Hale, he's a country fan. He likes his country music.
Okay.
I've seen him jigging about to country music in the dressing room. I have.
Okay.
No, he was. The players weren't there. He had the dressing room largely to himself, but he was having a wee spin to some country music. So, aspirations for the rest of this season, is it playoffs?
Oh, definitely.
Playoffs for me as well.
Yeah.
I think everyone's in place
Yeah, I do.
and the management's correct. I mean, that's where it's all coming from. But the ability's got to be there on the park as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The players have got it. Every one of them's got it. Just have the confidence to go out there and prove that we are the team.
Yeah.
Good.
We've just got to get over these injuries.
Yeah, that's the big
that's
thing at the
the
moment,
big-
isn't
That
it?
is the big problem.
It's getting some of them back.
Yeah.
I think some of them are a little bit long term. So.
Yeah. Although I think Coops and Rory McEwen, they're both back in full training, so although they've been out long term, so it might
Well, they haven't played this season. have
no,
No.
so it might take them a wee while still, but they could be back soonish and maybe hopefully get, maybe Drapes or Jake back in soon. But it has been a bit of an unprecedented run with injuries, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you look at the defence, so we'll have a strong defence if we can get them all back there. Ross Draper, Delansky, Garvin, and Jack Murray.
Yeah.
That is,
Wow, that's
and Booth, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
as well.
definitely.
So we
Lad.
have a strong back there if we can get everybody fit.
Absolutely. Kyle Garvin. I mean, you've got goals there right along that back line and,
exactly.
assists for goals as well.
Yeah.
And same in the midfield. Rusty's banging them in and,
Soapy's distributing the ball. And
Yeah.
that's his note. I'm quite confident that thing.
Yeah, I just
We
hope.
probably don't have a real natural striker. That's the
No,
problem.
what I was.
You would say it's an out-and-out striker. The goals are coming from elsewhere, but
yeah. But you said earlier, you feel for the likes of Dage and the likes of Dill and Ollie and McDonald as well, and Sarge, who's more an attacking midfielder, but has got a lot of goals in the Highland League.
That's right.
They boys just need a goal or two to
That's what it
really,
is.
really
To
set them off flying.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel that will come. And I believe it will come.
Yeah.
It's an old cliche, but you feel if the team all clicked on the same day, they could actually give someone
Which
a
they
bit of a
haven't
doing.
really done yet.
Right, old humping. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they say. Sorry.
That's all right.
They could give somebody a pumping, as they say. But but there is that potential there, isn't there, to really come up with a big score line.
Definitely.
Right, fingers crossed. But having said that, we just settle for 1-0 on Saturday just to get back on.
Yeah.
The
Even
unbeaten
keel.
run, start again at 1.
Start again.
Yeah. Even dare I say it, a draw, but I would like a win.
I'd like
Yeah.
one as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's no reason why we can't.
No, now when you're at the Bastille.
Yeah, no.
BB. Yeah.
And if we get a good result on Saturday, will you be there with some home bakes, or is it just away trips?
No, it's only away trips.
Is it only
mate.
away trips?
I'm only a
Okay.
poor baker, retired baker. What do
Right.
you expect? Mind you, Rusty's always said, I'll make a collection for you, Bob, for paying for your butter and that. No. I do this because I want to do it. It's my appreciation to the club. And
Brilliant.
no, it's the least I could do. So if you're on the bus, you get the rewards. If you're not on the bus,
Excellent.
well, you could always stop and ask me if there's anything left in the way home and cut something.
I passed you, I gave you a toot when you're going to Donnybrook. Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I could have hijacked him and his home bakes.
All right.
I did distribute them to after the game, though.
Thanks. Brilliant. Right, that brings us to an end to this chat about rock cakes and various other foodstuffs and a wee bit of football as well.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's all good. Everything's part of the mix, isn't it? That's a baking analogy. There's a good mix at Elgin City
There
this
is.
season, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all blended together beautifully.
It is blended and it's coming out of the oven quite nicely at the moment. So we'll leave that with the bacon analogy. So I'm just going to say thank you to Bob, thank you to Gnomes. It's been a pleasure, and you've been listening to Barra Briggs.